yourself and your background?
I am kind of a jack of all trades. I started out in the late 80s in real estate in Nebraska. I got my real estate license and tried to sell real estate for about a year and a half and wasn't very successful. I was in my early 20s and it was really hard because interest rates were like in the teens,
Wow.
like 12 to 15%.
Wow.
Was crazy.
Wow.
So, and then there was a lot of competition. I was in a smaller town. So I decided to go back to school and get my degree in IT. So I had, in 95, I got a degree in IT and started working in IT and project management and did that for till 2017. And I got laid off and I decided, okay, I'm done with project management and IT. And all during that time, I'd been investing in real estate and had a couple rentals, like anywhere from 2 to 6 rentals. So I thought, real estate was always good to me. Why not try and go back into it? So last March, I got my license in Missouri and have been selling again and been pretty successful. I'm really happy. Yeah.
Really good. So you're full-time real estate. Are you doing anything else outside of that?
I'm full-time real estate, and then I have 4 investment properties here.
Are those commercial?
No, they're all, there's 2 single-family properties here in Kansas City. I actually misspoke. There's 2 here and 1 in Omaha, and then I have a condo on the Oregon coast.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. What brought you do you have any connection to Oregon, or was that just what
I actually lived in Portland for 6.5 years. I got relocated up there for one of my IT jobs, and was out there and really liked it, but it was just growing exponentially, and the prices real estate was going through the roof, and it still is.
Yeah.
And I just decided, I've got family in Nebraska, so I kind of wanted to be closer to them. And I lived in Kansas City for about 12 years, from 97 to 2008. And I really like Kansas City, so I decided to come back, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had a similar story. My wife and I moved to Denver a few years back, and we loved it, but the housing prices were just, you cannot justify paying a 35% premium per square foot, And I mean, at least Oregon, like, you're on the coast. Yes, there's mountains in Denver, but I mean, we could not justify living in a place that the housing market was that expensive and, still growing. So we similar decision, family back home, we moved to Kansas City, and it's been great. Kansas City is just a really good mixture of big city lifestyle with small town values. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really good. So you said you've been full-time for about a year now. Talk to me a little bit about pre-COVID and then how it's changed or what has happened since.
Oh boy. Pre-COVID, I was still pretty busy. I had a lot of clients that I was working with, and when COVID hit, we just kind of decided. I worked as a team member of a team of 6 people, and as a team, we decided that it was, instead of going to the office to work, that we were all going to work from home, and we have daily conference calls to hold each other accountable that we're out prospecting, keeping in contact with our clients, and encourage each other. It's also, sorry about that, forced us to be very conscientious. I've been showing a lot of houses, but I show it wearing gloves, a mask, usually, lots of sanitizer. I think every time I get in my truck, I'm wiping sanitizer on my hands because I'm like, oh, I don't want to, get this, and just be really careful. And it's really made me a couple things: conscientious of my environment, grateful of what I have, and then just considerate of people. Reaching out to people and offering to help if they need help has been a big thing.
Yeah, you touched on something really important there. There's a lot of things very difficult about this situation, but I've had very good conversations with people, and we all tend to agree that the one thing that it's helped everybody is realize the things that are important. Family, health, friends, and then the simple things. Just spending some time outside, just stuff like that. It's really kind of brought back that appreciation, and I think that's really important to see that during a time like this.
Yeah, and I think it's going to bring back I hope it does, where people they slow down and appreciate life more, and are more considerate of people. I don't know. I think it's going to change a lot of things. I don't think we're going to go back to things as it used to be. I think it's going to be a whole different world.
I think so too. I think some things we've already felt. The difference has been immediate. Obviously more people are going to be working remotely, even when things even out. Obviously e-commerce and delivery is becoming a bigger player. But I think, and so we felt those things already, but I think there are going to be ripple effects that we won't even necessarily consciously notice maybe for 3 to 5 years. And then we'll look back and say,
yeah,
wow, that was sort of the starting point or the spark that got things moving. But yeah, I do hope, I try to look at it from an optimistic point of view as well, in the sense that, it's kind of like a wake up call. And we got to use this as an opportunity to grow as a society. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and one thing too, I try to keep positive about things, and there's so much negativity in the press and with everybody. It's like, okay, yeah, it's not a great situation, but if you keep dwelling on the negative and thinking negative, well, then it's going to be bad. It's going to get worse. If you don't think positive, it's not going to be positive. So
yeah, and I mean I don't know. You never want something like this to take place, obviously, but historically, when you look at events like this or in similar scope, they're almost always bookended by really big spurs in growth and whether it's economically or, like, you look at after World War II, what happened, and we had this sort of amazing 10 to 15-year run as a country and as a world. And I'm hoping for the same. I'm hoping for the same kind of, reaction, reflex for us to come together and just stand strong. So that's good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. So tell me a little bit about because I've noticed you've been doing a lot of reaching out on Facebook, like we're in that group, and I can tell you're doing quite a bit of networking. And so I want to know if that's something that you had been doing prior. Did it kind of kick it up a notch because of this?
I've been doing a lot of it before. One thing that I decided when I got my real estate license, everybody said, well, you got to get out and meet people, which I knew, but being in a real estate investor, I was like, okay, I've got a like a niche that I can go after. So I was like, why don't I join some of these investment groups that are in Kansas City? So there's probably 10 of them that I know of, and I'm fairly active in like 3 or 4. I've been going to the monthly meetings and stuff pretty consistently. So that kind of got me in that meeting people frame of mind. Yeah. And I'd also been meeting with like vendors to build like a vendor list of people that I could go to if I needed a plumber, electrician, or something like that for a client. So it's kind of just a natural progression for me to say, hey, let's get on a video call or a Zoom call and meet each other and see if we can help each other. And I've had people say you're a connector of people, and I like that. It's pretty cool to get
Right.
recognized for being that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think there's so many opportunities for whatever industry you're in for us to collaborate and push each other in a good way without it becoming this overly competitive space where, you know, you're just trying to beat the other guy. Because I mean, I think that's always going to be a part of it. You're always in business. There's always going to be competition, but I think
Absolutely.
it can be framed in a way where everybody still wins. Like if I can connect, like you were talking about a plumber with a client, like I'm not getting it. In fact, I'm winning too because you've helped two people now. And I think there needs to be a lot more of that where, you know, if it's not directly taking away from your bottom line, why not reach out and help somebody who, you know, could be a good, you know, down the road could be a good partner or client. So yeah, that's really cool. I think I'm really happy to see that too. And it seems to be coming from a pretty genuine place from a lot of people. You know, it's not like just taking advantage of a situation. So I think that what we talked about in the beginning is I hope that will continue past this, where people are still seeing it that way.
Yeah, I hope people, you know, continue to keep in touch with each other. And one of my goals is not just to have one call like this. I want to, you know, whether it's a Zoom call or an instant message on Facebook or a phone call, I want to keep in contact with each other and, you know, say, hey, what's up in your world? Things going okay? And, you know, just kind of build that relationship. And that's one thing with sales. It's about relationships. And if you never do business with each other, so what? You still have that connection.
Exactly. That's a really good outlook. I like that. So with that in mind, tell me a little bit about how you've utilized social media for marketing and like give me some specific ways that you think have really worked for you, whether it's, you know, getting on a Facebook group or something else.
I'd have to definitely say the Facebook groups have helped. And then I do a lot of open houses up until prior to COVID. And 90% of the time I did a video of right before the open house saying, hey, you know, come to my open house today, blah, blah, blah. And I was amazed on how many people are like, hey, you're the guy that does the video on open houses when they see me out at the networking events. And it's like, okay, people do pay attention.
So with that being said, tell me how the community, whether it's the Facebook community or just the Kansas City or small business owners, can help you right now, whether it's going out and connecting with you on Facebook or maybe it's meeting you in person when the time is appropriate.
Both. I would love to meet up with people when this, you know, gets to a point where we can meet again, and keep in contact on Facebook. I encourage that. I like the connection and the interaction. I'm an introvert in a way, but I'm an extrovert in a way too, where I like the people interaction. And then I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I've had too much.
Yeah, I think I've definitely been there. That's good. Then you can, being virtual, you can just always turn the screen off and call it a day. So are you primarily, just so I know, like if I'm going to promote some of your stuff, is it primarily Facebook? Are you active on other social networks?
I have an Instagram account, but I don't use it too much. I should use it more. And then I'm on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah. Yeah, but being in residential, I think I was going to say if you're in, you know, commercial, definitely LinkedIn would be a bigger player. But yeah. Okay, so that's good. But I mean, Facebook is such a good tool too, even just for having those conversations. I think that's a little bit tougher on Instagram to have those.
Yeah. I think I struggle with it because it's on the phone, on your cell phone so much, and versus on a desktop. You can use it, but it's not as
Yeah,
convenient.
yeah, it's hard. So what kind of content would you put on? Like, have you been putting on Instagram?
Um, I try and put content of things that I follow. I'm a big dog lover. Um, Building construction, things like that, just things I like to do, and
Yeah,
um,
I
a
mean,
little bit of real estate stuff, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah, kind of a mixture of like professional life and sort of your
yeah,
personal interests. That's
yeah,
awesome. It's so cool to hear people's stories because everybody has a unique story, and so
yeah,
often we don't when we are using a service, whether you go to a barbershop or whatever, you don't get to hear that. So one of the biggest things I wanted out of this for me out of this show was to give that platform and actually highlight the person behind the business, because I think when you hear that and you hear their unique stories and the challenges that they face, it's just such a different, you have a completely different appreciation for the business then.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, Dan, thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to having more of them.